as soon as I figure out my Mac, I'll be uploading these videos. So, and it shouldn't be too difficult. It's just a learning curve. So, alrighty. Let's go ahead and start with a little bit of a talk about Goetia and what it actually is. Basically, essentially, if you look at a lot of the old Grimoire magic, they're all seer rites. They're all rituals meant to help a medium communicate with spirits. So, that's why you'll see in a lot of these grimoires, you'll have one operator and one medium. And if you are the one and the same person, you can do these rituals by yourself. The thing of it is like people who don't get results with like Goetia or Enochian vision magic, that sort of thing, I'm convinced that a lot of the reason they don't get results from it in the way that other people get results is because they just aren't natural mediums. You either have the talent or you don't. And you've either developed that talent if you do have it or you haven't. So depending on your level of skill as a medium is going to depend on the kinds of results you get. And Goetia is no different. It is the ultimate seer rite. And I'll explain that here in a few minutes. I think a lot of you probably are already you're familiar with the material. So some of you may already know this. It's not a big surprise to you. Let's go ahead and take a minute to talk about what the Goetic spirits are. Are they jinn? Are they demons? Are they spirits? Are they genies? Are they angels, for that matter? What are they? Well, I prefer, obviously, the term demons because demon is a very encompassing word, and it means divine intelligence. They are divine intelligences. They're just a very specific type of divine intelligence. If you've ever worked across pantheons, you'll know that, for example, Kemetic spirits have a different feeling from Goetic spirits, from Enochian spirits. They all have like a different feeling about them. And if you haven't noticed that, then you might want to work on sharpening your skills for sensing, your sensitivity there. Because that's kind of course, I can't really tell you what to think. Obviously, you're going to believe what you want to believe, and your experience is going to dictate what you feel about that anyway. Everyone throws around that phrase, unverified personal gnosis, and I tend to think that there isn't anything but unverified personal gnosis. So you might as well, we might as well just kind of, truth is subjective when it comes to a lot of what magic is. Because not everyone's going to get the same results, because not everyone's going to have the same skill set or the same energy to interact with the certain energies being worked with, etc., etc., etc. So, so technically, I believe that demons are specific, that the spirits of the Goetia are a specific type of demon. So demons have different like classes, so to speak. Angels tend to be included in there as well, in my viewpoint. So not everyone's going to agree. Some people still adhere to that belief that demons are the evil, malevolent little beasties of, of whatever religious belief or whatever worldview you subscribe to. And that's okay. Just know that it's not shared by me. So you got to take that into context with everything in this presentation. It's kind of good to know where we're all kind of starting out in our beliefs, so we kind of understand each other and we're all kind of on the same page. Okay, so throughout this presentation, you're going to see my little blasphemy thing there, because I tend to piss off a lot of by-the-book ceremonial magicians. And this is a fact that I'm actually proud of. It does not upset me in the least. I have no problem pissing off the ceremonialists, because in that sense, I'm very much a kind of a chaos magician. So, a lot of people are like, invocation, evocation, what's the big deal? Oh, someone's having problems with any meeting. Thank goodness I have the phone here. So basically, people always wonder, is there actually a difference? Is there actually a difference between invocation and evocation? Does it really matter? Can we just say summoning? Well, I'm a writer. I like words. Words have very subtle inflections to them. And I understand that evocation in ceremonial magic is basically to conjure up, to call up. To summon, you see the definition right down there. But I also find it very disrespectful. It has a very disrespectful tone to it. Evocation, now if you're calling or evoking something from within yourself, so if you're working on demons within, that's one thing. And I have no problem with that whatsoever. If you need to, kick your own ass and boss yourself around to get that part of yourself to cooperate with you, then, that's your thing. But we can't really say that everybody needs that. Not everyone needs to kick their own ass. Now, if you're talking spirits externally, evoking suggests that you are actually dragging them from where they are and forcing them to come sit at your ritual and listen to your dumb ass. I think that's kind of rude, personally. Whatever. To each their own. I prefer invocation. It's respectful. It is still a summoning of a deity or some sort of divine intelligence, but you're asking them. You're saying, hey, I'm kind of doing this thing. You want to come over? It's the difference between telling your guests, my house, 5 o'clock, be there, or go fuck yourself. Or, somebody's like saying something. Or it's a matter of saying, hey, I'm doing some stuff at 5 o'clock. You want to come over? Big difference. I don't know. Which invitation would you respond to? That's kind of my thinking on that. So, and it's been my personal experience that seems to work a little better. So, again, that's really entirely up to you. Demonolators, we like things that are respectful because we hold in high regard the divine intelligence. That's what worship means, by the way. It doesn't mean groveling before and going, oh, I'm unworthy. It means to hold in high regard. So, modification is respectful to the spirits that you're working with. You don't have to be a jerk and boss them around and threaten to burn their sigils or anything. And quite frankly, I find it laughable that burning sigils actually does anything, because in demonolatry we do burnt offerings all the time, and sigils are included in that. And I've never had a demon get pissed and kick my ass before for that. So it really is the intent behind it, I suppose that probably plays a big role. Modification, because some of us really like physical manifestation from our magic. And if you don't connect to the magic and it doesn't resonate with you, you're not going to get a manifestation. I mean, let's face it. I mean, how many of you are actually going to do some sort of Jesus magic and actually find that you get something from it? Probably not many of you. You're probably not going to get the results you want. We modify because no two magicians are alike. I'm a water element. Some of you are fire elements. Others of you are air. Others of you are earth. How do you think that interacts with a demon of, say, an opposite element? Very different things happen when you're looking at elemental combinations. You're looking at alchemical synthesis, if you think of it that way. So think of it in that respect. And you might even be able to anticipate how you are personally going to react when you invoke a certain demon with a certain elemental makeup. And you can kind of be prepared. And as you get more experienced, you'll kind of be able to create hypotheses of what's going to happen, and then maybe test those to see what is actually true for you. Modification to accommodate different beliefs. I do not believe, I think the Judeo-Christian God is like a synthesis of many gods from religions prior to it. And I really just don't see Christianity personally, I don't see it as a valid religion. It's completely invalid to me. So, working any type of Christian magic just really doesn't do anything for me. And I imagine a lot of you are the same way. Many of you are practicing demonolators, so. And of course, Another reason to modify is because modification works. I can't begin to tell you how many ceremonial magicians have been incensed by this book, by the Demonolatry Goetia. I'm pointing it at this camera and this camera. Specifically because of the modification. And they're like, oh, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. That's dangerous. That's dangerous. And I'll tell you why in a few minutes. And it's actually kind of funny. Those of you who have done the modifications before, I think you will agree. Excuse me. Okay, so the main way on how we modify is we modify to remove any religious dogma that we disagree with. So all of the names of God and all of those constraints to like keep your demon in its triangle of art, those kind of go to the wayside with Demonolatry Goetia. It's like, yeah, don't need it. Gone. Next, to remove any symbolic actions, names, colors, or symbols that have no meaning and replace it with those that do. Every part of your magic needs to correspond with you. It's kind of like, when we're working with a specific spirit, they have certain colors and directions and attributes and stones they like and herbs they like and all of these things. Well, you as a magician, that's the same too. As above, so below. So do consider that when you're working magic, because that is going to make a big difference. The triangle of art is not stagnant. That's not really a modification. That's just a matter of fact. But I have met so many strange people who think that the triangle of art just faces north. Because in the picture, in the original Goetia, that's where it is. It's in the north quadrant. And so some people think, oh, well, I'm by the book. It says it has to be north. It has to be north and on the damn ground. So no, it actually, and I think a lot of magicians and even ceremonial, even by the book ceremonialists, have finally figured out that you are supposed to move it around the circle to the direction of the demon being invoked, or the spirit, whichever you choose. Now, I also am of the firm belief that the triangle of art should contain a black scrying mirror or a scrying device. If you're going to leave it flat on the ground, you put maybe a glass or crystal orb right on top of that black circle, and that is your scrying device. Or you can put a mirror there, or you can put it up on a tripod like we have back here. I can't see if you guys can see that, but I will bring it closer here in a minute, and we'll look at it. But there is an actual mirror in it, so you can, look into it. You can raise that up as high as you need to. Put it on a table or something. That's fine. But there are some people who say that's blasphemy, and I'll tell you why. The problem is everyone argues, well, not everyone, but certain ceremonialists argue that you should probably not conjure a demon into your reflection, which is really funny. It just cracks me up. It's like, really, how... I don't see that as a problem, and I'm sure a couple of you are chuckling to yourselves right now, because it's just kind of funny, because they're like, oh, that's dangerous. You're going to end up possessed or something. Well, maybe, if you believe that. If you believe anything strongly enough, you can make it come to pass. And I also do believe that the triangle of art does not actually constrain the demon. It just contains the essence of the spirit and brings them through. It's like a portal. That's kind of how I view the triangle of art. And that's kind of where the Demonolatry Goetia is going with regard to that. So we're going to look at some various triangle variations here. And while you're kind of looking at those on your screen, you'll see the original on the right. You'll see a thalamic one kind of on the bottom, and that's blasphemous as well to your hardcore ceremonialists. And then up in the left, that's from the Demonolatry Goetia. But I'm going to show you my personal one that I'm using for this particular class. I have several others, and I changed them out. And I'll explain that to you. So here's what I've got. I have a tripod, standard, it's a painter's tripod, okay? And on it, I have a scrying mirror. I'm going to take off my, let's see if I can, oh, yeah, huh? Let's see if I can do it without screwing it up. Okay. Here's my scrying mirror. Can you all see that? I hope you can. Make sure that camera gets it too, because I don't want anybody to miss it. And of course, on the back of my triangles, I also put Velcro, because I change them out so often. I know everyone likes to have the pretty ones, maybe made out of wood or whatever, but I'm such an experimental magician that I like things to be interchangeable. And if I can actually hang on to everything here. So you can kind of see, I have Leviathan around there. Leviathan's my patron. I have Amun-Ra over here, Thoth over here, Atem down at the bottom. These are all names that mean something to me. I don't know if you guys, I'm going to make sure that that camera can see it. And I think everybody's triangle, depending on what you're doing, this triangle is more of a gaining insight and wisdom triangle. And that's what we're going to use today. But you can also, if you want to do it for a specific thing, like let's say you're working a particular Goetic operation for wealth magic, or you're doing something for healing, maybe, you can actually, or self-transformation, you can actually change it to demons that actually work with those particular causes. So I just reattach my Velcro, and my triangle of art is ready to go. Got the black scrying mirror behind there. I'm going to put it right back in our south quadrant, because today I initially was going to do work with Ashtaroth, and I will do a little bit with her, but I'm actually going to be doing some with Baal. Some of you may say Baal. I'm wearing Balaman because he prefers that. So we'll get more into that here in a few minutes. So there are ways you can modify your triangles, and I do highly recommend that you experiment. If you are an experimental magician and you're not afraid to try new things, go for it. So basically, yes, the triangle of art can be created for just about any purpose that you want it to be. Sorry, I'm just noticing there's like little thingies popping up with questions. I hope I'm not missing anybody's questions, but I will go back through and make sure once I'm done with the presentation, I'll go back through and actually make sure that I didn't miss anything. So yes, you can create your triangle of art for any purpose. You just use demonic names on the sides of the triangle associated with the purpose that you're working toward, and the name that goes around the actual the black circle or your scrying mirror, scrying device, etc. That could be something similar to that too. Leviathan does kind of project wisdom, water element, that sort of thing. Whereas Amun-Ra, Thoth, and Atem, they're all kind of wisdom too, but they're a little more all-encompassing, maybe higher ups. So that's kind of, I always figure the higher ups go on the outside and maybe a more specific demon. So yeah, definitely experiment and try different things, and do share them with people, because everybody's interested in. Share them on the S. Conley page or any of the demonetry groups you're in with other people. So basically, one scrying mirror can be an oval piece of glass painted black on one side, or it can be a crystal scrying orb, or another scrying device. You need a piece of cardboard, some paints or markers, scissor glue if you need to glue anything together, and a painter's tripod. And if you want to switch out your triangles, the great thing about that is just use some Velcro. It's actually pretty cheap, and it's nice for switching things out. So you don't have to have, 50 scrying mirrors. You can have one scrying mirror and just down the road we go. Now, on the back of that scrying mirror, if you're working with a specific demon, I like to take oleum and draw the sigil onto the back of the demon that you're working with specifically, so you can, pull that demon's essence through that mirror. So you can have a conversation with them, so you can, communicate. That's up to you. I do it that way because I can wash it off and I can use it for a different demon. Or you can or you can put Velcro on the back of the mirror and just put sigils. If you have Velcro sigils, and put them right on the back. I know that sounds really weird, but it works. Okay, now we're going to talk about circles. Some people, I'm kind of lazy because I didn't do a circle today. I didn't even do a rope. Sometimes I'll just do a rope because it's easy. If you want to get like really technical, you can paint them or draw them on the floor. You can use paper. There's certain types of craft paper that you can use. You can use purchased pre-made ones. The problems I see with the pre-made ones, maybe that they're not the colors that you. I know they're like traditional colors. Oh, this is this color for this reason. Blah blah blah. But again, that can be a very personal thing. So, I mean, depending on you as a person, if you don't mind trying pre-made things, that's fine. Cloth is a very popular medium because you can spread it out. You do need something to weight it down on all four corners. Otherwise, it will get kind of messed up. You don't want to, I just see so many problems with that. But if you have a good imagination, just imagine your circle, which that's what I'm going to do. I have a great imagination. If you want to see images of circles that people have created for Goetic work, just Google it and you will find some people's setups, and they're really kind of interesting. It's kind of neat to see that sort of thing, what other magicians have done. So, and you can also see other people's triangles of art, how they've made them different mediums. Some people make them out of wood and attach them to the scrying mirror and all of this stuff, and you can do that too. Whatever works for you. You can modify the writing inside the serpent. Again, rope will work. I have tried that. It's pretty effective. You probably need, I don't know, I think I used about 100 feet of it, because you are going in a pretty good sized circle. Now we're going to talk about the 9-foot circle. There's a reason in Goetia that they talk about the 9-foot circle. 9 is a number of foundation and balance. And it suggests that maybe the original intent of the circle wasn't to protect the magician from demons, but maybe to keep the magician balanced during Goetic work. I don't know. That's up for debate, I suppose. That's how I view it. That's kind of my take on the entire 9-foot thing. However, if it's not exactly 9 foot, it's okay, because you know what? It's still going to work. So, bad things do not happen. Demons don't get out of their cage and, strangle you in the middle of your circle. It doesn't happen. And if it does, someone needs to tell me, and I could probably pinpoint why it happened if it did. But, of course, proof. All right. Preparation of the magician. Bathing is always a good thing before any major operation, and to signify, purification of yourself. Wearing the demon seal as a lamen for the connect is important. Sometimes it's even more important depending on the demon. I'm working with Baal, and it's kind of really important with him. So that's kind of why I'm wearing it today. Drinking a full glass of water symbolizes internal purification. Very important if you want to, if you're really into the self-purification thing before work. And then enter your ritual chamber, your temple, with pure intention. Now, by pure, I mean you should know exactly what it is you want to accomplish. If you don't know exactly what you want to accomplish and you're wishy-washy, it may not work so well. So you need to have a clear goal. And that's true with any magic. When you go into it, you really do need to know what you want to get from the ritual, what you hope to gain. So if you don't really know that sort of thing, I don't know, you may have a harder time getting it to manifest the results that you're actually seeking. So then we're going to just talk a couple minutes about the brass vessel. I have a couple of brass vessels here for demonstration purposes. And this isn't the part where we're going to actually make the brass vessel. We're going to do that after this presentation. But we're going to discuss it here first. First, okay, yeah, so we'll do the demonstration later. But we're not going to, we are going to discuss how to deconstruct. So the brass vessel is basically, to see next slide, I better do that, huh? I actually wrote an article on this. It's on my blog. You can copy down that URL if you want. I also have this slideshow for anyone who wants it. I will send you a copy of it. That's not a problem. And I also did a YouTube video about the brass vessel. So basically, the brass vessel is a focal point to bring the spirit's influence into the physical realm. This is something that you would like set on your altar or keep on your person when you need it. And it's an open door to connect with the practitioner. It's like something inside it, you basically, it's a metaphoric home for the spirit. You keep things inside it important to the spirit to attract that spirit's energy. So it's not like you're trapping a genie in a bottle or any type of vessel for that matter. You are basically, it's basically a sacred space where that demon's energy resides, where their essence lives. So it is a metaphoric home for the spirit. Some people will use it as a sacred place to keep their goetic skill sets, and it keeps the energy in. It's not to constrain them and hold them against their will. So, exactly, not a place to capture spirits if you're holding them hostage in exchange for goods and services. So, they can be of any size. For example, this is what I'm using. Actually, I'm going to be using a couple vessels today because I am going to do one for Ashtaroth, but this is going to be balls, and this is a small pillbox. You can see how small that is, but it's the perfect size. It doesn't really need to be much bigger. There was like a little plastic pill container in here, and I popped that right out, and ta-da, instant goetic vessel. You'll also see, like, they have like little lamps, like the old-fashioned genie lamps, like Aladdin lamps. But even an incense burner like this would be a perfect brass vessel. Now, a lot of people actually wrote me before class to see if their vessel needed to have a lid. It does not. A vessel is a vessel. It can be a bowl. It can be, a cup. It can be whatever you need it to be. I do actually have a brass cup somewhere around here. I think it's actually back there. But you can also use, but when you're talking about like spirit pots, for example, because that's kind of what we're talking about today when we're going to construct our brass vessels. These are actually going to be spirit pots, so to speak. You can make them out of different materials. You can do them out of wood. You can do them out of different metals. I always prefer something natural. Is always good. I am going to do one for Ashtaroth today, and the thing about Ashtaroth is I'm actually going to be using a copper vessel because, Ashtaroth likes copper. I'm not saying you can't make a brass vessel for her. You can, but why not? Let's make a copper one. And you can see, obviously, the size. Big difference in size. Sorry, I'm showing the other camera too, which might seem a little weird, but... So, you've got that. Definitely something for you all to consider when you're working with your vessels. Now, if you're making a brass vessel to keep your goetic sigil set in, obviously you're going to want something a little bigger, so it'll fit all of them, and maybe something that, like maybe a box of some sort, which if you can find a brass box, that's awesome for that, but that's entirely up to you. You can use a wooden box for what it's worth for that. They say brass, but yeah, Yeah, there you go. It's amazing what you can do with just about any container. So, and of course, again, this is not traditional. This is not your traditional, goetic magic here. So, we're going to take a moment now to kind of discuss the operation, the whole goetic operation in general. We're going to actually go ahead and deal with the creating the vessel, charging it, and deconstruction. We're going to discuss that when we actually do that procedure. So I'm going to just skip that for now. So the elemental construct in the book, if since many of you have read Demonology Goetia, you know that I suggest an elemental construct. You can completely forego that 9-foot circle if you have an elemental construct, because that elemental construct is going to provide the same thing. It's not to protect you, it's to keep you balanced. And I guess in a way that is kind of a protection if you think about it, because the minute you become imbalanced, you can actually screw yourself up. So hold on just a second. Let me just see if he can actually... Someone has to listen online because their computer's not working. So that's okay. At least I'm recording it. So that's the good part, because then recording it, they can watch it later. Although rebooting the computer, I'm going to try to reboot the computer. I don't know. I think I have a few more slides to go. So anyway. Oh, yeah, he rebooted. That didn't work. Okay, well, that sucks. Okay, well, the elemental construct, it's to keep you balanced. So that's the purpose. The 4 kings exist for a reason, and it's not just to look pretty. Okay? So invoking them in your standard ritual construct is going to give you the same effect as having that circle on the ground. You can't skip it. If you are a magician and you know how things go, and you're comfortable with goetic work, and you've done it before, and you know what imbalances you and what doesn't, you can completely skip the elemental circle. It's just one of those foundational basics. If you've never done it before, I really do request or suggest that you do it, just to keep yourself evened out. Now, yes, you should do maybe elemental balancing after you're done with an operation like this. It depends on how you feel afterward. As for banishing, that's entirely up to you. I don't banish. I dwell in demonic presence. It does not bother me. After years and years and years, I've built up a tolerance to that kind of energy in my house. And I actually did have somebody come into my house and banish without my permission once. Pissed me right the hell off. Nobody banishes in my house without my permission. Yes, I'm glad I'm recording too. I just need to figure out how to upload these damn things to YouTube. I'll figure it out, but when I do, I will send everybody the link. But anyway, this guy came in, banished the demons out of my house. And my house felt really weird. It had like a funk in it. It was just strange. I didn't like it. He consequently got kicked the hell out, and I had to re-invoke all the demons in the house, and they were a little pissed off at me. Of course, in all fairness, I wasn't in the room for the first part of it. I actually came back in and caught him doing it. And yeah, that does not go over very well with me. So banishing, that's entirely up to you. There are gentle ways to go ahead and ask the demonic to leave, depart in peace. You can say something like, thank you for attending this rite, Paimon, part in peace. And there you go. And that usually will work. I just kind of, I always thank them for attending the ritual and just kind of leave it at that. They want to stay, they can stay. They want to go, they can go. Now, again, well, I should have put a blasphemy next to that because I'm not a banisher. But again, if you really don't know what you're doing, or you're really susceptible to different energies, you probably ought to at least do a cleansing. And by that I mean like maybe taking some frankincense and burning it and just kind of incensing, like fumigating the entire space is probably a really good idea. So, however you need to do that. So, wait a minute, where am I? Okay, putting it all together. So you have the preparation of yourself, you have the preparation of your ritual space. I have gone ahead, and I don't know, you can't really see it in the back here. Let me see if I don't know if you can see that. I have my triangle of art is in the south quadrant there. I do have in the southwest here I have my setup here, and I'm using 2 yellow candles and a red candle specifically because of ball. And because I'm also going to put Ashtaroth on there too, and that's kind of a nice happy medium for them. Right there. Plus, I kind of don't have a lot of room here. Cat not included. I don't know if you can see him back there. He's just kind of hanging out. He's been favoring that south quadrant all morning. And I have, of course, these little handy-dandy sigil cards with, of course, the ends on there. Because if you're like me, you work with so many demons that memorizing every N is absolutely impossible. So, and this is actually my north, and it's here on the altar because this altar is facing north. So I have these laid out. Now, generally you would have candles on this, and some people will do the, the hexagrams with all the symbolism, the Tau in there and all of that. Yeah, it's not really my thing. That's not, you sometimes just have to do it with what works for you. So, basically, you do your invocations and orations at that point. So now the preparation of you and everything is just set up your ritual space. The construct is to actually construct your circle with your 4 kings. Okay. I must have missed a conversation there. Someone had too much time on their hands. Then you go ahead and speak your invocation for the particular demons that you're working with. Then generally you do a scrying session. Okay, if you're actually doing an operation where scrying is involved. And then there's the close of the ritual. Yeah, there you go. Making all the little hexagrams. Some people like doing that. And then, of course, closing the ritual, balancing the magician. And then if you need to do your temple cleansing, you can do that afterwards. And by balancing, that could be as simple as just sitting on the ground and shoving your palms into the earth and imagining your tailbone being kind of like your root chakra attached to the ground there. And, or it could be like a complete elemental balancing ritual. It depends what you need. I have brought into the temple with me a big glass of water. Not only because I'm talking to all of you, but just in case I tend to get hot since I am going to be working with the fire demon. And I have my coffee as well. Oh, why am I missing that? Sorry, I have someone on chat here. And he's saying he does chakra balancing before work. Before doing the work. So some people do it before they do the work, which is okay too. Because you do want to make sure that you go into this with everything okay, that you're not like emotionally compromised or feeling jittery or feeling imbalanced or anything like that. So that's something to consider too when you go into an operation, depending on how big the operation is. Today's operation is kind of minor since we're just creating and charging brass vessels. Okay. Yes, grounding yourself. That's pretty much it. I hope everybody is kind of grounded today. If not, we can do a balancing afterwards if you like. Okay, the next slide. Things only true for by-the-book ceremonial magicians. And these are things that I found that aren't true for me. They may be true for some people, but not me. And they're not true for a lot of demonolator friends of mine who work goetic magic very similar to the way I do. It's only true for a by-the-book ceremonial magician that circles are a type of spiritual condom that will protect you from astral STDs and scary demons. So, yeah, I do believe circles are for balance. They're not to protect you from scary demons or any astral STDs. I think we're all good there. Without evocation and banishing, demons will destroy you. Now, granted, demons are not fluffy bunnies, and they will kick your ass if you need it. But generally, if you're getting your ass kicked, there's a reason for it. Now, there are those instances where sometimes a demon just doesn't, their energy just does not work well with yours, and they do not like you. If that's the case, you probably shouldn't be working with demons, but that's rare. I don't know that's not as common as you would think. I mean, unless you actually believe the demons are out to get you, I don't. Usually there's a reason. There is generally a reason behind that. So, and some people may disagree with me, and that's okay, but I believe that there's always a reason. If they're attacking you for a reason, it's to get your attention about something. Once you figure out what that is, they'll stop. Never invoke a demon into your own reflection. Bad things will happen. Like you'll become possessed, or and that's a big thing. That's a lot of people like really got pissed off at me in Demolish Goetia because they were thinking that I was telling people that's what you need to do is to invoke demons into your own reflection. And the reality there is that I don't think that's depending. You're basically looking into the mirror to communicate with them. You're not invoking them into your reflection, so to speak. Again, I really do believe that that's going to be one of those things that either you believe that's how it works, and if you believe it, therefore it does. I've never had that problem. If demons possess you, there's a reason. And if they're going to possess you, it's not just to, to make you shout swear words or writhe on the floor or do stupid shit like that. I would certainly hope that if a demon's possessing you, there's a good reason. Maybe they want you to write something or draw something, or, take them out to get a hamburger or something. Something useful, not just to hang out. Can I elaborate on what? What was that? I apologize. Oh, not invoking into your reflection. Well, I'm not sure what you want me to elaborate on. Basically, the by the book ceremonial magicians are afraid that they're afraid of the scrying mirror and the triangle because they're afraid that you're actually invoking the demon into your reflection and promoting possession, where a demon would take over you without your consent. That's what they're worried about. And they're worried that that will hurt you. And again, like I said, if a demon's going to possess you, there's going to be... Can I say the same thing about piece of shit? POS? Okay. Okay, misunderstood. Yeah, that's what they're worried about. They're worried... Oh, possession. Oh, I just saw POS. Sorry. Thank you, Daniel. No, I can't. Obviously, I'm missing parts of the conversation, and I apologize for that. Really, I am gonna go ahead and, yeah, short comments are probably gonna help because I only get like one little line from each person that comes up. So yeah, and then there are some who believe that demons will always attack you if you don't make control and threaten them and coerce them into helping you. I've found, however, that you're going to get more results by being respectful and just asking. Now, they might tell you, okay, yeah, well, we can do this, but it's going to take you a lot of work. And if you're not willing to do the work, you're not going to get anything. They may say, okay, yeah, but you have this really bad habit that we need to take care of first, and you might get your ass kicked. But if you do get your ass kicked, just know that you probably need it in order to... Hindsight's 20/20. You'll look back, 10 years after the fact and go, yeah, I really needed that ass kicking. You may not see it at the time. It may piss you off. It may upset you. It may freak you out. But at the same time, you have to remember that sometimes things need to be deconstructed before they can be reconstructed in the manner that they need to be reconstructed in order for that final outcome to take place. For example, if your finances really suck and you're really bad with money, the demons may need to, but you're looking for financial stability. The demons may kick your ass all the way back until you have no choice but to relearn how to structure your finances so that you're not always broke. That's exactly how it works. You can't always just go from one to the other. Yeah. It, you just can't always jump to where you need to be. Sometimes you have to take a few steps back before you can go forward again. Some people believe that demons are evil and will feed off of you and destroy you. So I actually heard a story from the guy who was banishing demons in my house. Before he actually did that, he told me how he went into his Goetic circle to work with folklore, and he did it drunk, and he felt a strong force actually knock him back onto the ground, flat on his back, like something had punched him full in the face. And he said that he had never gotten back into a Goetic circle since. And I was like, yeah, because you went into the temple drunk, which first of all, you shouldn't be doing that to begin with. That's very disrespectful as it is. And second, you started bossing them around, acting like an ass. You deserved exactly what you got. Now, chances are he probably tripped and just fell on his ass. But, yeah, exactly. What did he expect was going to happen? So, I've met so many interesting people. Okay. So I think about this time we probably need to talk about whether or not the Goetic spirits are real or whether they're part of the psyche. Now again, this is going to be a personal preference thing. Some people do believe that the demons are part of yourself. And in a way, we all are demonic, and therefore we do have demonic parts of ourselves. But I also do believe that the demonic is external as well. So, no, see, I've already told the story. I think I got ahead of myself here. So, again, evocation is acceptable if you're evoking demonic parts of yourself, because you want to evoke that particular part of yourself, that particular emotion, that particular raw current of something from within yourself. So if that's what you're working on, and you're working on maybe some psychological aspects of yourself, and you're doing that, evocation is perfectly acceptable. You can be disrespectful to yourself if you choose to. You can kick your own ass. I don't really think it's necessary to be disrespectful to yourself. I think that you can affect change without kicking your own ass, but some people do need that, so I'm not going to judge. But as for like being real entities, if you've ever, I don't know about all of you, but when I make my sigils, I'll get like feelings when I'm actually making them. And today, for example, when I did ball, I got like a hot flash and then like a really cold chill as I created it, because I made this little tiny seal. I'm going to show it to this camera too. It's going to go into my brass vessel. And that was pretty intense. So, I can't really tell you. I know that for me, I do believe that they are external energy sources, and they can be internal as well. But I do not believe they're just parts of the psyche. So, I do not believe the demonic is just parts of the psyche. I do believe as above, so below, though. So, sorry, Lily, I'll have to read that when I'm done with the slideshow, because I only get 2 lines now. I disagree with the Crowley version. Yeah, I disagree with a lot of the different versions. That's why I had to create my own. So now let's talk about physical manifestation, because there is like a new thing in by the book ceremonial magic, that you should always have the wind raising lightning from the fingers magic, or you're not doing it right. And I am going to be honest here, and I'm going to tell you that I think a lot of that is people trying to hawk books and teaching. Because not all magic manifests in bright flashes of light. But we're going to get to that in a minute. First, we're going to talk about the types of physical manifestation. A lot of times when magicians are talking about physical manifestation, there you go. That's probably it, Jackie. Um, Physical manifestation, a lot of people are talking about manifestation of results. How many of you have read Joseph Liszewski, The Power of Evocation, I think is the book, where he talks about, you know, you're getting like, he's making it sound like you're getting theophany, and I think really it's tongue-in-cheek, and he's actually talking about the manifestation of results. If you're not getting results with your magic, yeah, you're probably doing it wrong. And how do you tell if your magic is actually getting results? I would say that is one of those things where if you're getting consistent results, okay, maybe one time you can chalk it up to coincidence, maybe 2 times coincidence, but if you're consistently manifesting results for yourself, that is manifestation right there. However, a lot of people, when they talk about physical manifestation, they're not thinking manifestation of results. They're actually thinking of theophany, which is the actual physical presence and appearance, the solidification of a spiritual being into a tangible form that one can see, touch, feel, maybe even smell, and all of these things. So physical manifestation comes in many different forms, but when we're talking theophantic experience, we're talking about actual physical, tangible, something tangible that you can see, that you can experience with your physical senses, with your sight, with your ears, with your hands, and with your smell. And I don't know about taste. I don't know that I want to taste a demon, just because that's bizarre. Anyway, so those are the different types of manifestation. But when we start talking about results, as in wind raising lightning from the fingers magic, a la Harry Potter, people keep feeling like they're doing it wrong. Yeah, there you go. People keep feeling like they're doing their magic wrong because they're not getting these wonderful results. Now, I will tell you that if you practice for any length of time, and I mean actually practice magic, not just sit around theorizing about it or thinking about it, or doing it maybe once or twice a year, but if you actually practice, you are going to end up having real theophantic experiences. I don't think you can actually get away from that. It's eventually going to happen. Unless you have no medium bone in your body. And I will say that people who experience physical manifestation most often tend to be people who are very strong mediums. That's just the way it is. I don't know why it's that way. It just is. I think because you're just more in touch and more in tune with the spirit world. So of course you're going to get, more, blasts of air, feeling things like push your hair back, so the wind in your hair type thing. And you're going to get those electrical feelings in your fingertips, and you're going to have the hair raising experiences and the cold and the hot flashes, maybe even smells, and then seeing the shadows and those things. Or you're even going to see, is this somebody in the class? Huh, maybe not. So anyway, so don't necessarily think you're doing it wrong if you're getting results. If you're getting results but you're not getting theophany, you're still getting results. You're still getting manifestation, just in a different way. Because each of us, based on our mediumship ability and where we're at, are going to get different experiences, and we're going to experience different things theophantically. So it's not that just anybody can go into a magic circle and raise a demon and get like a nice cold blast of wind through their hair. Not just anyone can do that, but there are people who can. Now, a lot of people will say that, put your money where your mouth is. That's really what it comes down to. We've actually scared people out of OFS before, and I don't know if Julie is here with us today, but she can attest to this. She was supposed to be here, but I don't know if she is. She can attest to this, where we actually scared off one of our members after we were doing a spirit board session, and we had this program on our phones called Ghost Radar Classic, and we were just screwing around. We knew it was a joke. We didn't think it was anything serious. Well, we all turned off our phones because we were getting ready to do the spirit board session, and we asked a question, and suddenly my phone, which had been turned off, pops on and answers the question using that stupid program. And it was freaky, okay. Yeah, stuff like that happens, and you're still like, oh, wow, you know. But we never did see that guy again. He ran away. So we lost a member that day. So really, I mean, you should be expecting, it's always good to expect those sorts of things, because but you're not ever prepared when they actually do happen. However, I wouldn't expect them right off. I'd expect them eventually, or not even expect them, maybe anticipate that it could be the result of what you're doing. Yes, exactly. Expect the unexpected. But you don't want to scare yourself either. So know that it could happen, but if it doesn't, don't be upset, because as long as your results are manifesting, your magic is working just fine. Sometimes you don't need theophany every time you do any work of magic. You know, if you need to get your boss to shut the hell up and quit bad-mouthing you to the other boss, then you don't necessarily need a theophantic experience to promote that, as long as you get results. So, again, I'm getting ahead of myself with expectations in the slides here. So again, if you are not a medium and you don't have fine-tuned psychic senses, you may have a harder time getting to a point where you actually experience theophany. Okay? So sometimes it may be brought on by magical work with someone else. If you work with somebody who's really, there are certain magicians that I have worked with that the results are instantaneous, or they're very, very potent, and the experiences will be brought on by them and not necessarily yourself. And when I was younger and just starting out, I had a lot of that, where I would work with more experienced people and I would have those results. And so that was actually kind of fun. Again, manifested results of the work performed, you should always expect that. Because if your magic isn't producing results, then you maybe need to revise and rethink how you're doing it. And those manifestations should start happening within a week of any magical operation. And they may not be the full manifestation of the results that you're seeking, but you should start seeing things change. And you should be able to recognize the signs of things changing. And so, again, if you're not getting these experiences, don't let people tell you that you're doing it wrong. Is what generally the case. I must have missed something there. Within a week. I would say that's pretty realistic. If you're not seeing anything within a week, you might need to rethink it. Now, I'm not saying like completion. I'm not saying completion of the magical result. Like if you, for example, let's say you've been looking for a job for, say, 2 months. And you're just not getting anything. Nobody's biting. You're putting out your resumes every day. Nobody's biting. But then you perform magic, and within a week you start finally getting calls back on your resume. You may not have the job, which is the ultimate end goal, but you'll see the wheels start turning. You see what I'm saying? So you need more money, and you're suddenly offered a new job. You're not going to have that money right away, but you can get the new job that's going to eventually make you more money. You see what I'm saying? Or you get the interview for that particular job, or whatever. I always use financial magic because that's just the easiest, because so many people do that. I always use that as an example because it's the same thing with the relationships. You can't really expect, that to manifest very quick. You need the wheels to start turning. That's all. So, okay, all of these questions here on your screen can be answered with yes. The first question, can working with the Goetia kick my ass? Yes, the answer is yes, because sometimes you need your ass kicked in order to manifest the results that you are seeking. That's just the way it goes. Because sometimes magicians can be very stubborn people, and old habits die hard. And sometimes those old habits need to be changed in order to effect change. Okay, can I work with Goetia inside a demonolatry ritual construct instead of a ceremonial magic grimoire ritual? Absolutely. You can work with Goetia with your standard witchcraft kitchen witchery if you want. You carve a goetic seal, if you can, on a candle and do candle magic. I don't see why not. I've done it. Put a seal underneath a candle and do candle magic. Use goetic seals during regular demonology rituals. You can do it however you like, and it does work. So, and I can't